Good morning, everyone. On today's show, it's React Day, and that means it is time to break from gameplay, sit back, relax, enjoy some clips, watch some stuff from my past, and in general, just be chill and have a good time. But on today's podcast, I'd like to give you all a big update on my run through the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, because a lot of the things that we kind of talked about on Friday night into Saturday, I tried to apply during yesterday's gameplay session. I have some really good results to talk about. So I'm happy to bring you an update and a positive one after some negativity on Friday night, to say the least. Outside of that, not much else going on. So it's going to be a more chill, laid back, relaxed show today. So sit back and get ready for some fun on the Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, today is Sunday, the 23rd of June, 2024. Of course, I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to the show. Today is React Day, the day a week that I step away from doing nonstop gameplay on pretty much every stream and instead do some different stuff on my various other YouTube channels. And it's a good day in that regard. I will say this, every week, you never know what to expect on my DSP versus the Internet clip show over on the DSP React channel, and that's what we're actually going to be doing right after the show ends. The clips this week look like a good variety of stuff. Like, I'm looking at them all, like some of them right now, and they are all over the place. We've got a history of Capcom video, a video about AI, a video about cooking, a video about law changes here in Washington State recently, which actually applied directly to me and things that I have mentioned here on my streams. There's even a video, if you can believe it, comparing Islam and Christianity and some similarities between them. So that's just the first 5 videos, you see? So it's a good show, and if you've never checked it out or it's been a while, I do strongly recommend that you give it a shot, because the show usually has a lot of fun discussion and interesting topics to discuss. Last week was a really good one. We ended up having a clip where I was laughing so hard, I almost peed my pants because of some funny stuff that was submitted, and people really loved that. There was a video where I commented on me fighting Justin Wong in Street Fighter back in the day. So there's all this stuff going on that show. I just feel like I don't really talk about it that much, right? Like, usually it's like, oh, it's Sunday, it's time for it, and that's it. I don't really mention it all week long on this channel, and because of that, I definitely feel like there is a core audience, but it definitely doesn't have many new people coming by. So if you haven't yet, check it out, youtube.com/@DSPReact. It's a good show that will be this whole afternoon, 3+ hours of reacting to clips. I split it into 6 parts that I upload slowly over the week, but if you become a channel member on that channel, you can actually watch the archive stream the moment it goes offline. And also, if you become a member at either the submissions tier or the ultra tier, you are the people who submit the clips for the show. Sometimes people say, oh, well, too many of the same clips this week, or, oh, I wish that the clips were better. I'm like, I don't pick the clips. That's the nature of the show. It is members of the channel who support the channel that pick the clips for the show and make it what it is. Now, I will say this. This week, I noticed a pattern. Same amount of videos submitted pretty much as every week, so it's not like, oh, there's a shortage of videos this week. But what I did notice is that a lot of the videos are on the shorter side. Like, just to give you some perspective, okay? In the Ultra member playlist that I'm staring at right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 videos under 5 minutes long, 2 videos under 10 minutes long. So 6 of the 10 videos are very short. And I mean, yeah, I'll react to it, but it's like there's only so much I can add to a short clip. So I get the feeling today's show is going to move fast, as opposed to sometimes, we're watching videos at an incredible length. I actually feel like we're in a situation where we might have to watch every video, or actually, we might actually run out of videos. That's never happened before on the show. To be honest, it hasn't. Most weeks we have more than enough for the 3 hours. There's been a few times when we just got right down to it and watched every clip. I will say this. There was at least one clip that I can't watch because it's rated adults only. Basically, YouTube is very weird. That's how it works. If there's a clip that's deemed only for adults, meaning it might have graphic violence, it might have sexual content, it might have a lot of gore or something, that clip typically must be flagged for adult audiences. And usually it is deemed unfit for advertisements. Okay? I don't really care about all of that. The problem is if that happens during a live stream, the live stream gets flagged. Meaning, I will lose all capability to make any money on the entirety of the stream that I'm doing because there's one clip that's deemed adults only. So because of that, those clips are ruled out of the show. On the flip side of that, if there is a clip that's deemed for children only, like let's say it's children's television or educational stuff deemed that it's meant for kids to watch, that is also deemed as unmonetizable content by YouTube. So because of that, if there's something for kids or adults, I can't watch it on this React show because then it just makes it so that the whole show makes nothing. So it's ridiculous. Like, I don't know why they're so strict about this, but they are. So in this particular case, I know for a fact there was a submission, an ultra member submission. I cannot watch it this week. So I told that person, hey, next weekend submit 2 and we'll watch 2 clips from you, but make sure that they're not flagged for adults. If you're ever curious, is a video flagged as adults only or not? When you go to play it, the first thing that will happen on your screen, there's a pop-up warning that says, this is confirmed for mature audiences only. Are you sure you want to proceed? And you have to actually click yes on it to watch the video. All right? So that's how I know. So, you know, that's how you should qualify if you're a member or if you're just someone who watches videos on YouTube in general. That's how you figure it out. Okay? So anyway, we'll see how the show goes. I'm excited because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of good variety this week in the stuff that has been submitted, and I can't wait to get to it. I just hope that it lasts the whole 3 hours this week. First time we may have actually been faced with that. I guess we'll see how it goes, okay? So anyway, check that out if you're into it. It is good variety stuff. I like doing it once a week. And then tonight on the late stream, all right, over on my DSP Throwback channel, which can be found at youtube.com/DSP Throwback, we're going down memory lane, and we're finishing up an atrociously bad game from 2011 called Rise of Nightmares. This was a game that was made exclusively for the Xbox 360 version of the Kinect accessory. This was the thing where it was a camera pointed at you, and it was all supposed to be motion tracking of your hands and your arms and your body. No, controller required to play it. But man, was it bad. It did not track well at all. You basically had to be in like a perfect lighting and room and space situation. You actually weren't even supposed to wear certain colors of clothes, but it didn't disclose that because they were afraid no one would buy it if they knew that. So anyway, we're near the end. 2 weeks we've been reacting to this. We're in the final hour, the finale of this horror game that's more horrible because the controls don't work than the actual content of the game. After we finish that up, we're going to swap over and go back to reacting to my original playthrough of Dark Souls 1, also from 2011. I want to say we've done 2 streams of that one so far. So we're basically around, 4.5 to 5 hours into the game playthrough. And it is funny to watch because you get to see me just die over and over and over and over at the same stuff, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. So that's going to be fun because now obviously everyone is playing Elden Ring again with this DLC. So it'll be cool to see me jump into my original experience with FromSoft ever during this time frame, and we'll probably do that tonight and also next week's stream as well as I'm playing Elden Ring. Okay? Pretty cool. So, that's what I'm doing all day today instead of gameplay. I hope that you will check out the channels. I hope that if you're someone who maybe only is into the gameplay but you never gave the other stuff a shot, I really hope that you will today. Even if you're watching this after the fact and you're going to miss the streams, please check out the stuff on demand. I've definitely noticed a surge in interest in the React stuff over the last couple of weeks since I did the special React videos to the Summer Game Fest and Xbox events. It would be nice to keep that momentum going, so I hope you will check it out today, and thank you very much for giving it a shot, all right? Now, it is time to talk about and give an update to my experience with the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. First off, before we even get to my new updated feelings and reactions on this DLC, I would like to share with you some information about how other people are reacting to this DLC on the internet, okay? So I am about 8 hours in, 8.5 hours into this DLC. And I've basically beaten the entire first major legacy dungeon and the first major story boss. I've also fought many of the optional bosses and beaten all of them at this point that I've encountered. I've now beaten 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of the optional dungeons that are located in the world. I found many of the upgrade items, and I think I've leveled up like 4 times of the Stardew tree upgrades. And I found lots of weapons, lots of armor, okay? So in 8.5 hours, I've done a lot in this DLC, but I'm still very much in the first area. I haven't even left the first area of this DLC yet. There's just that much content in this DLC, so I don't think they lied when they said this was going to be an incredibly lengthy, stacked DLC. It seems like it's going to have tons of content, okay? Now, before I get to my update on yesterday, here's what's going on the internet, if you're not aware. On Steam, okay, reviews have begun to turn. While at first, most people were reviewing this very positively. It was like the most highly rated DLC in history when it comes to this kind of game. Guess what's happened? The user reviews have flipped, okay? Now, it went from overwhelmingly positive all the way down to mixed review level. What's happening is a lot of people are outright complaining that it's just too hard. Some of the common comments that I'm seeing are, you know, I was able to play through the main game, and I just simply put cannot progress in this DLC. I'm doing the same stuff I did in the main game to succeed, and it doesn't work in the DLC. Okay? Now, if you're not aware, okay, Elden Ring sold way more than any other FromSoft game to that point. It hit mainstream popularity. Everyone knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was memeing about it. It got everyone to stream it. It got everyone to buy it. So you're talking astronomical numbers of people playing it who never had played the series before. A lot of them literally cheesed the game. All right? They didn't actually legit beat it by learning the game mechanics and succeeding with a good build. They literally just went through the game summoning constantly. Once they get the Mimic tier, the game's basically easy mode because Mimic tier literally distracts every single enemy and boss and destroys a lot of them just on its own merits. A lot of them went and just waited to see what the broken builds were and then just got the broken builds and used guides and other people's playthroughs in order to get through it. So because of that, you got a tremendous amount of people, all right, who like the game, who enjoy it, and then went to buy the DLC and are like, wow, I can't do anything in it, and I'm very upset, and now they are review bombing the game down on Steam. I'm not making this up. This is happening right now. Okay? Even streamers and content creators who used to be prominent supporters of Elden Ring are starting to come out against this DLC. The most notable of is Asmongold. He actually came out about a day ago. He tried to play it nonstop since it came out, and he's like, I can't play this anymore. It's too hard. It's so hard that it's not fun anymore for me. So I don't want to play it. Like, I only want to play games I'm having fun with, and I'm not going to torture myself to play this DLC. So a lot of people are on the two different sides of the fence on that one. You know, a lot of people who like Asmongold, a lot of people who don't, and they're all torn that he would basically say this about this ginormous DLC. I know. But Leonardo says, but he's literally still playing it. I know. So isn't it funny, right, that they all say that, oh my God, it's too hard, it's not fun. It's still playing it. Okay. But anyway, the point is, there is a giant amount of debate right now about this DLC and its difficulty level. So, yesterday, when I was on this very show, and I gave you my opinions, okay, I've decided that I said I was going to change my build. I was like, it seems to me with this DLC, there's two options that I can do. I can either run throughout the entirety of the open world map of the DLC, grabbing the upgrade items and getting the Stardew tree upgrades, meaning I'll get increase to damage output and damage resistance of 5% per upgrade, and apparently there's 20 of them, meaning you can double your damage output and damage resistance by getting all these, okay? So I could do that. I could spend a whole lot of time just doing that, right? And then I could probably succeed with whatever I want. I could play a magic build, I could play a melee build, I could play a range build, I could play a stealth build, I'd do whatever I want, and I'd be okay. But after kind of presenting that to everyone, as an option of something that I could do, a lot of people were very much against it. They were like, no, you really shouldn't do that. You're basically going to end up like exploring the whole map before you even beat the basic stuff that you're supposed to beat first. And it's going to be so time consuming. And already, you know, I've been critical of the game saying the open world is a little boring. Really, this first open world area of the game, there's really nothing special to it. I didn't find much uniqueness to it. It's very similar to the open world exploration of original Elden Ring. So it's not like I was having a great time with it. Because of that, you know, I really liked the legacy dungeons. That's what I wanted more of, right? So a lot of people were very strongly against me doing it like that. Instead, a lot of people, especially in the video comments, were saying, you just got to respec. In this DLC, magic build is weak. You know, you need to have a ton of health and damage resistance, and magic build will never have that because you're focusing on buffing your magic. And in addition, there's just a lot of enemies that are straight up resistant to magic. For example, I had run into a dragon called the Ghost Fire or Ghost Flame Dragon, which is exactly the same as all the other dragon fights in the game, except it has one different flame attack, okay? I couldn't really hurt it with my magic build at all. Like, I was standing on this thing, dodging every attack, wailing on it. And I could get it only down to about half health. And I'm like, why? And everyone's like, because it's resistant to magic. So, after, you know, going through that painful experience on Friday night, I said yesterday I would respec, okay? So, here's what we did yesterday. First thing I had to do, I had to beat a boss called the Death Knight. Because I was already at the end of one of the optional dungeons, the Catacombs. And this was the boss at the end. So I had to beat him because I was stuck at this Stink America. It was either that or quit. And I was like, I'm not quitting and doing this goddamn dungeon again. These Catacombs dungeons suck ass. I don't want to do it a second time. Fuck that. So I stuck it out. And I did beat him. It took me many, many tries. I think it took me about 40 minutes of just straight up trying against this guy. And essentially what it came down to was, I had to use the magic sword. Magic was not effective against this guy at all. I'd use the magic sword. I'd use the charged sword, hitting him with the ice wave, which after 4 to 5 hits would stagger him. And even then, I had to stagger him 3 to 4 times to win the fight. And if at any point he used his super armor move, which means he just decides to ignore whatever you're doing, go into a stance that will not be interrupted under any circumstance, and just spin at you with double axes that are lightning charge. And if it hits you, it's instant death. Like, if those axes hit me, it was 100% of my life bar. So basically, not only did I have to time all of these fully charged sword hits perfectly for 4 different stagger sequences, but I also had to dodge whenever he started doing his super armor attack, and he does it a lot. So that's why it took me 40 minutes. I beat him legit. Thankfully, I get a new weapon, dual lightning axes, and I'm like, ooh, dual lightning axes could be pretty good. So maybe I'll do a new build with those. So I did. I actually then went right to Renala. And, well, I take that back. I went and I got the heaviest jar talisman. The one that lets you have the highest equipment load. I went and I did that. So I did a quick summon fight to do it or whatever. And so we went and respect. And when we respect, I got these dual lightning axes. Okay. Now, admittedly, one thing that is... I did not want to do that. One thing that is disappointing about Elden Ring and Dark Souls in general, when a boss has boss weapons, they are insanely badass. When you get the boss weapon, it's not nearly as cool. It's still cool, but it's not nearly as cool. You know, when this Death Knight had these double axes, they were huge, giant axes with giant areas of swinging when he attacked that were very hard to avoid. His move, his special move, is that he would charge up with lightning. And then he would charge forward with super armor and spin like a tornado with both axes. So guess what? You can do that with the axes, but it's nothing like when he does it. First of all, there's no super armor. That's number one. Secondly, the first time you actually will do teleport like a lightning bolt, which is really neat. And then if you hit heavy attack, when you come out of the teleport, you start to spin. So the thing is, it's good, but only from a distance. You can't use it up close ever. You'll pass right through the enemies, in which case it's useless. So you have to be doing this like from a distance, running up and getting like a sneak attack. I can definitely see this being useful in certain boss fights and situations. I don't know how useful it is, you know, long term. But anyway, I was just stoked to get something nice that was different from what I was doing. I said, let's do it. So I respect, and I started using these axes, and I noticed, you know, they're a little different. Every attack is a double attack instead of a single attack. So if you press R1, he goes like, ha ha, 2 hits instead of 1. So you got to remember that's going to be 2 hits, and you got to remember that's going to be a little bit of time rather than just 1 hit. You can't just go hit, hit, hit. It's like hit, 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 hit. It's like a big combo when you keep pressing R1. So I was basically learning this moveset, okay? And I said, let's start exploring. Now that I have a new build, I'm curious what we could find and how good this will be. Let's go around and explore. Maybe we'll find something optional to do so I can have a chance to fight some generic enemies with these axes and learn them. So we jumped on the horse, Torrent, rode across the bridge to that castle that was to the northeast, and then just hooked a right. And just kept going straight, and we ended up finding a cave that said it was like a forge. Okay, I was like, oh, so it was like a blacksmith area? So I go in there, and that's exactly what it was. There were some new enemies. There were these giant golem-like monster blacksmiths. You had to hit them in the butt. Their weakness was actually a red gem on their lower back. So you had to go behind them and keep striking them in the butt cheeks. So it was kind of fun and unique. And when I finally got to the end of this DLC, I was kind of getting the hang of the moveset, but maybe not yet. And then at the end, there's a forge. And you touch the forge, and you get an insanely cool weapon. A ginormous hammer with an anvil on the end of the hammer that is a smoldering anvil. So not only is this a giant stagger slam damage weapon, but it also has a fire effect. Okay? People were watching like, where did he get that weapon? That weapon is so cool. So I had to show them on the map constantly on the stream, like 2-3 times how you get it. Because people were like, wow, I really want this, right? So I equip it, and immediately I start using it. I'm like, oh my god. This thing is sick. It's got a cool boss effect, well, weapon effect. You slam the ground with it. You become fully poised, meaning you can't really get staggered out of this move. As you strike the ground, all of these spears come out of the ground and start impaling upwards. And so it causes a multi-hit effect that's uninterruptible, essentially. So it's super good for a poise build. And guess what build I had? I had a poise build. So I'm like, dude, I got to try this. So I immediately went and leveled it up, started using it. It's insane. This hammer staggers pretty much everything. All you got to do is use heavy attacks or, yes, jumping R2, which is literally a giant hammer slam. I mean, if ever jump R2 was to be utilized in Elden Ring, this is supposed to be the weapon you do it with. It's a giant hammer slam, exactly what you would want to be doing with this weapon. And if you just hit any enemy a few times, they stagger. It's an insane stagger build, okay? So, knowing this, let's go try this out on the enemies that previously I wasn't able to fight. So I went back, and I fought the dancing lion boss again. Immediately, I noted something. I'm taking way less damage with this new RESPEC build, and I'm dealing crazy damage against it. I'm like, dude, this is excellent. This is exactly what I needed. My build was bad. That magic build, but this stupid YouTube thing, the magic build does not work in this DLC. You needed to have a different kind of build. So, respeccing, oh my god, night and day. Now, I'm still not happy with the way that dancing lion boss is. For example, I actually really like the boss. I think it's unique with the way that it moves and dances and flows. I think its attack patterns are kind of cool. I also like the fact that there's multiple elements in the fight. There's lightning and ice in the fight as opposed to just a one-element kind of phase shift. It could change, which is really neat. I don't have a problem with the fight. My problem is with the fucking camera. When you're trying to fight this thing, you have two options. Lock on or don't lock on, okay? If you lock onto it, the camera frequently has major problems. It'll start to do its dance, and all of a sudden, the camera will start going crazy. And you can't tell where you are, where it is. You can't see what attacks it's using. So good luck trying to learn this thing's attack patterns when the camera refuses to center on the boss like it should. So it'll start moving. All of a sudden, you're behind it. You're crunched against the wall and can't see. There was one time, I'm not kidding you, the camera got stuck in the boss's asshole. I could see through the boss transparently, and I was on the other side. What the fuck is going on? How could the camera possibly have gone into the boss and got stuck in its fucking rectum? And it did. This has always been a problem with FromSoft games since the get-go. that camera, I remember complaining about it every single FromSoft game. I remember at Bloodborne, the first major boss, same problem. I get stuck in the wall, can't see what I'm doing. It's stupid that they haven't fixed this yet. As big as they are, as popular as they are, as much money as they fucking make, the fact that they can't figure out how to work the goddamn camera yet is really atrocious. So you might say, well, then what's the solution? Just don't lock on. Fine. But what problem with that is, if you don't lock on, half the time when you're going to attack, you will swing and miss. I got this giant hammer and I'm swinging, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it just goes whoop right the either wrong direction, or it looks like it's going to connect and it doesn't. When I'm locked on, it hits almost every time. So you lock on and you hit, but you can't see. So it's basically like you're playing like this. Okay, I'm hitting something. Let's keep going. All right, yes, I'm hitting him again. Oh, this is great. Or it's like this. Oh, wow, I can see everything, but I can't. I'm whiffing. I'm whiffing. I can't hit it all. I'm whiffing. That's dumb. The challenge of the fight should be the boss, not the fucking camera. So that's actually what agitates me about that boss. Not the boss. I like the boss. It was unique. It was very beautiful the way it was animated. And I like the multiple elements. I'm not criticizing at all the boss fight. It's the fucking camera sucks shit and makes it bad. If the camera worked, that fight actually wouldn't even be hard. That's the sad fact about it. Okay? Anyway, so I absolutely, finally, after about a half an hour of fighting that boss, I beat it. Okay? And I'm like, yes, we did it. So then, I have choices of what to do. We explored some more. Basically, what I wanted to do is get revenge on everything that had kicked my butt. So I went right back to the Ghost Flame Dragon. Guess what? One shot at it with this new build. One fucking shot at it. Because it wasn't that the dragon was kicking my ass. I was kicking the dragon's ass, but I wasn't dealing any damage with the magic build. So now with this new hammer, I was dealing insane damage to the dragon, kicking its butt. So if anything, what this DLC is telling you, it's very simple. Don't stick with your specs from the main game. Take one of the new weapons you find in this DLC, respec to use it, and then you're going to do fine. It just seems like anything that's old school isn't going to work. I mean, I had a fucking meta build of magic based on feedback from my streams, and it doesn't work. I immediately start getting new weapons, respec to them, and now I'm kicking everything's ass. So there's your testament to the fact that that's what they must want you to do in this DLC. I mean, either that or, again, if you want to ride around looking for all the Stardew tree upgrades to get all 10 of them, so now you're double damage and double damage resistance, then maybe any build would work. But I don't want to spend time doing that. I'd rather play the game. So there you go. Anyway, so now I have two different weapons I can alternate between. Right now, I'm absolutely loving this hammer. It has insane stagger, and it deals great damage, and I like the ability it has, too, to have that rooted slam that turns into a bunch of spears coming out. It's really neat. But I also have the axes, and the axes are pretty good, too. So I have a choice to go between these two weapons on the fly whenever I want, see what I want to do. I might go back to the axes at some point. I don't think I'll stick with the hammer the entire playthrough, and I might find another weapon as well that I end up really liking. The good news is, already I found another of the highest level Somber Smithing Stones. So I can have another weapon leveled to max that's a special weapon that I like. So we're going to have options in this playthrough to swap around, okay? And I've only respec'd once. I have 9 more larval tiers or something like that. So I'm good in that regard as well. People are saying there's some wild weapons in this DLC. So likely I will end up running into more long-term that I want to try out and respec to. So we'll see how it goes. And continue on. Now, today we're taking a break from it, but we do return to it tomorrow. And I'm playing it Tuesday. After that, there's going to be a balance between that and Street Fighter 6 because we got a brand new character, M. Bison, entering Street Fighter 6 on Wednesday, and that's going to be my focus. So, should be pretty interesting. See how things go. I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm glad I'm taking the break from Elden Ring, but now that I actually have a couple new weapons and a new build, I'm craving it. Like, I kind of wish I was playing it today, but at the same time, it is good to stand back and say, okay, let's take a different approach. Let's do it a little different, and let's give it a rest for a day. Also, I will say this, okay? Excuse me. I will say this, okay? First stream of Elden Ring on Friday. Tons of people showed up, right? Great support in all regards. Super chats and tips and everything. Friday night, no exaggeration, the support I got on the Elden Ring stream was lower than the usual Friday night fights for Street Fighter. And then yesterday, yeah, the daytime stream of Elden Ring, I didn't even hit tier 1 tip skull. And it's like, this is the biggest thing. Everyone claims they want to see me play it. The views are good on the streams. I don't know what's happening, right? If I'm playing other games and getting more support, I don't know what's going on with Elden Ring. And the thing is, I want to play a lot of it. I want to play this game a ton in the coming weeks, because if it is 30 to 40 hours long, you know, by the end of this week, I'll be, what, like 14 hours into it or something like that? And I want to keep it as a regular game in the rotation and balance it with something else, but I want to play a lot of it. Everyone's been asking for it for months. Please, you know, finish your second run, get ready for this, right? So, I don't know what's going on. I would hope that maybe what it is a lot of people are playing the DLC themselves, and then they're going to come by after. The thing is, the viewership's good, but I get the feeling most of the viewers are trolls here to see me suffer, right? Let's be honest. Every single fucking time I play a FromSoft game, I get inflated views. They don't really amount to anything. It's just people who are here to kind of, like, laugh when I fail, right? And I get that. That's part of the experience. You're never going to change that. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what happens. I'm going to keep playing. I'm not giving up on it or anything like that. I would hope that we're going to essentially have people coming by to support and engage further on. And it's hilarious because you got someone saying, you're so far behind everyone that's why people are going to watch other people. So you want everyone to rush through the fucking thing? You're an idiot. Okay? Let me just say this up front. If you want to see someone rush through the fucking new DLC, not take their time, not explore, just bum rush through it, you're a fucking moron. Alright? That's not how it's supposed to be fucking played. The whole idea of an insanely lengthy DLC like this is to check it out at a pace that makes sense. Check out the nooks and crannies. Find the optional dungeons. Find the cool weapons. I mean, what's funny is I'm playing it, right? And right on my stream, there's people outright saying, oh, I didn't find that when I was playing. Oh, yeah, I beat it yesterday, by the way. So you beat it in 2 days, but you skipped half the content because you rushed through it. So what the fuck? Why did you even play it? Right? You also have to understand something. I'm not one of these streamers who's going to be playing this 7 times. There's a lot of these streamers who, when they play it, they're going to be playing it once, then again, then again, then again. This is their thing for like 2 months. This is all they're doing, right? These kind of streamers, they just focus on one thing. That's not me. I'm a variety guy. You know that. You know that this is going to be my one run through this DLC. Maybe in a year or two, I would go back and play it again, much like I just did with the base Elden Ring. But I'm not a streamer that focuses on one game endlessly. So I want to play it at a pace where I'm looking for everything. I'm exploring the areas. I'm finding the secrets. I don't want to miss out on tons of meaningful content because I'm rushing through to be the first to beat it. Who the fuck cares? That is such an insanely outdated mentality when it comes to content creation and gameplay. That's what I used to do 12, 13 fucking years ago. Run to the store, buy the game on launch day, beat it in a day and a half, get the full playthrough out onto the next game. Skipped half the content of the game, but who cares? The playthrough's done, right? What's the fucking point of that? So if that's actually what you're saying, oh, well, everyone's ahead of you. They're going to other people. Well, then fuck them. They're morons. Why are you dying to see someone rush through the fucking game? Doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to more tomorrow. All right. So now what we should do, let's go through the schedule. You guys know what to expect, 'cause this week is still kind of an interesting mix. So today it's React Day. It's going to be DSP versus the internet. And then tonight, the Retro React stream on DSP Throwback, finishing Rise of Nightmares, and then Dark Souls 1. Tomorrow, Elden Ring DLC on the first stream. And we actually are at the Castle Ensis, I think it's called. And I don't know if this is a legacy dungeon or not. We are there, and there's no torrent. So I'm thinking it's a legacy dungeon. But it's kind of weird the way it's laid out, because I haven't really found a way into the castle yet. I think we're at the point where I might. So we're going to probably continue on with that. Or we could go and explore other stuff too. I actually found a second legacy dungeon way out in a different direction, because I went exploring and found this other way to go. So we could do that one too. It doesn't seem to be any particular order you have to do anything in this DLC. You might be able to do them in whatever order you want. I don't know. So we have those, or we could just further explore the open world as well. So we'll see what we want to do. But I got 2 new builds to check out, 2 new weapons, so it should be neat. Tomorrow night, Street Fighter 6 returns. I'm going to do a late stream of Zangief once again in Street Fighter 6. Do a little bit of casual play just to get my bearings again, and then jump into ranked and see how well I do. Last time I actually won more than I lost in ranked, so hopefully I can keep that pattern rolling. Tuesday, more Elden Ring DLC on the daytime stream, and the night stream will be the continuation of Stardew Valley. Now, before we get to Wednesday, which is a big Street Fighter 6 update, I just want to give you guys my thoughts about Stardew Valley. I've now done 4 night streams of Stardew Valley. 4. I don't know why I'm doing the Spock symbol, but anyway. And here's the deal with Stardew Valley, okay? We have not had a regular late night chill stream game in a bit. There have been games in the rotation that are considered chill that I would play at night, but a lot of them were playthroughs, like actual narrative-based playthroughs. They had a certain length, a challenge, you know, nothing that's like an endless kind of chill experience. For example, Minecraft, Bassmaster, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Animal Crossing, what was it called? New Horizons, or Disney Dreamlight Valley, right? I could keep going because we've had these kind of games over the years. Subnautica, right? And they're all unique and different, but they all have something in mind. There really is no end to them. And the more you play them, you can have a lot of opportunity to relax and interact with the audience who helps you along the way to excel in the game while you're also having fun conversation. It's a social hangout more than just a playthrough that must have progress, right? So, I've now been playing it 4 times. Every single time I play Stardew Valley, it's a delight. It's a treat. The game is fun. It has all this different stuff. It's not just about farming, which is on the level of it. Like the base level, you would think it's just about farming, but it's not. There's farming, there's mining, there's fighting, there's combat against monsters in the caves, there's fishing, which I love fishing in video games, and this one has it in droves, and it's fun. There's a whole social aspect of befriending the people in the town, and each townsperson has a unique role. Like one's a carpenter, one's a blacksmith, one's a museum curator, and they all have something to do with different elements of the game. There's crafting in general, just learning how to craft stuff and using that crafting to improve the kind of stuff that you can do on a daily basis, which is really neat. There's also story. Like there's story elements happening, cutscenes and things like that. That's really, really neat, and I'm enjoying. And on top of that, there's like timed seasonal things that happen too. So, I went on an Easter egg hunt. They didn't call it Easter egg because I thought Easter would be offensive to say it's a holiday. It's kind of a religious holiday. So they said spring egg hunt, right? Or the flower dance, which I'm going to be honest, kind of creeped me out because it looked like Midsommar. You ever saw that movie? And I was like, oh God, what's happening here? The deaths are coming any second now. So anyway, so it's really neat because it has all of this content to it. That on the base level, you would never think the game even has that. I mean, I've played it 8 hours now. Well, actually, probably about 9 hours. So I did the intro in a separate set. And I'm never bored. There's always something going on. I'm improving and learning new things. In fact, as of last night, I finally hit summertime, and now it's a whole new season. So there's new crops, new activities, and new things to do. And the entire music and atmosphere has changed for a new season. I'm like, oh, that's neat. I can't wait to actually play it next time and see what's changed and what's new because the seasons have changed. So I'm going to be honest, I really like Stardew Valley as a chill stream, all right? Just on its own merits, I like it as a chill stream. But then on top of that, I am getting some of the biggest, most supportive viewers, chatters, and participants in these streams. Every single time I played Stardew Valley, we've hit multiple goals. We've gotten tons of support and tons of engagement. Like, people come by and we have fun conversation, and they help me not only with the game, but we talk about all kinds of things going on in gaming and news and life and everything. It's just a weird, different experience than say, oh, I'm playing Elden Ring. Must hyper-focus on Elden Ring and play Elden Ring, right? Oh, play Street Fighter. I got to do this. I got to, pay attention. It's just such a different thing. And I like that. I like having that in the rotation. That's why I kept Stardew in the rotation this week, because I knew with these stress levels of playing Elden Ring and Street Fighter, I needed something to break that stress up as something relaxing and chill. And it's working. Like last night, after having played Elden Ring 3 straight streams, it was very refreshing to play Stardew Valley. So yeah, exactly. The Blimp says, games like that and Bassmaster are great, like a Q&A and gaming hybrid. Yeah, that's why I called them like chill streams, because the focus isn't, oh, tonight we absolutely must make utmost progress in the game we're playing. The game is there. It's part of the experience, but it's kind of an overall balanced take, right? It's overall everything kind of balancing together that makes it work, right? And that's what I really like about it. So that's why Stardew Valley is staying in the rotation, and the next time we're going to play it is Tuesday night, okay? This Wednesday, which is what? The 26th? June 26th, is the release of M. Bison, or Vega if you live in Japan, in Street Fighter 6. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have not seen gameplay of him outside of the announcement trailer. I've literally not watched any of these special selected fucking fighting game players who got it early. Again, you guys know me. I hate the practice that there are special priority streamers and content creators who get shit early and can make all this content on it, and essentially they're getting paid big bucks. You might say, what do you mean? Is Capcom paying them? No, but because they got the content early, they're able to put out all these videos and streams, and they made thousands of dollars on that content so far. It's ridiculous that they're just given money to promote. You would think they're going to say a single bad thing about M. Bison when they're getting this priority and getting paid to do so by their viewers? Of course not. Anyway, he really comes out on Wednesday. Rather than listen to all the white noise around it, I'm going to play with M. Bison on Wednesday for the very first time. I'm going to do just what I do every time. I'm going to take him into his, his tutorial mode where it teaches you all his basics. We're going to go into training mode and try to learn advanced combos, strategies. Then we're going to go to casual play, try to pick him there, learn, and then I'm going to jump into ranked, just like I did with Akuma. However, here's the difference, all right? In this case, I will not have the insane input delay that I've had with all the other new characters I've played in this game. With Akuma, I literally got him the 5-star diamond, and then I couldn't win a match because everything was so slow. With Bison, at very least, I shouldn't have that issue. I'm not saying I'm going to be good with this character. I'm not. It depends. I don't know. I've liked Bison. I really like Bison in Street Fighter 2. I really like Bison in Street Fighter Alpha. Those are games where I excelled playing with that character, okay? But I haven't really played the more modern Street Fighters. You know, I used him a little bit in Street Fighter 4. I didn't even play Street Fighter 5 more than a little bit. So, you know, I don't know how he's going to be in this or if I'm going to like him or not. He definitely, in the preview trailer, he looked like he was playing like Street Fighter 5 Bison, in which case, I'm not going to know my ass from my elbow. I didn't play Street Fighter 5 Bison. I don't know the changes. I mean, he's very different in that one. I wish he would have played more like Classic Bison, but Street Fighter 6 doesn't play like Classic Street Fighter, so that's kind of a pipe dream at this point. But we'll see. So all day Wednesday, it's all about M. Bison here on DSPGaming as I explore the character. I try him out, see if I like him, and I'll dedicate the whole day to him, okay? Then I'm off from streaming on Thursday. When I return on Friday, it'll be Elden Ring on the day stream and Friday Night Fights, more Street Fighter on that stream. And now here's the thing. If I like Bison, I'm probably going to jump right into Bison again. Why not? Do 3 streams of Bison. Maybe I'll get him to Master at that point. Or if I don't like Bison after playing him all day Wednesday, maybe instead I would go back and maybe go to Blanca or more Zangief or something like that. We'll see. Okay? And then, of course, Saturday will be more Elden Ring and Stardew Valley, and then we're going to go from there. All right? So the good news is there are no more major releases for quite some time. Around mid-July, we're going to start to get some releases. For example, I'll open up my game release list here. All right? In late June, there are some re-releases. For example, there's the Luigi's Mansion 2 HD re-release. And it's like, I don't know if I'm interested in it or not at this point. There's also Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble that comes out in 2 days. Those are kind of maybe filler things for the summer, right? But not something that I'm rushing to do. In July, quite frankly, the first big one, and probably the only one, this Kunitsugami game comes out on July 19th on Game Pass, and no one seems to know what the hell it is. Like, no one. Because everyone thought it was going to be like Neo or something like that at first, and then people thought, oh, maybe it's like Tenchu. And then they're looking like, what is this? It looks like it's a strategy game. Like, no one knows what it is. So there's really not that much going on in July. There's the Nintendo World Championships coming out mid-July. And like I said, I may actually save that and do something like that during my upcoming Summer Bash Marathon event that we're probably going to do. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up again. I'm probably going to have to blow my nose in a minute. Anyway, yes. For us, to play possibly during my marathon event in late July, early August, which we'll talk about more soon. There's really just not much going on in July. So I feel like July is going to be focusing on finishing up the Elden Ring DLC, a lot of Street Fighter, right? Continuing on with Stardew Valley, and then maybe bringing back Fallout 4 in some capacity, and then maybe some new stuff, some new ideas. Maybe we could do that System Shock remake that came out. Maybe we could do Luigi's Mansion 2. Maybe we could check out the Super Monkey Ball game. That's just a few things going on that we could possibly do. I'm interested in this. Riven is getting a remake on PC, okay? And it comes out, I think, this week. And I really liked Myst when we played it on PC many years ago. But I don't know if my mini PC can play the Riven remake. I'm nervous it probably can't. It doesn't have a console release yet. But I'm interested. I liked Myst a lot. It was very fun interactive streams that we had together. And so I'd be interested in Riven. But again, I don't know. I guess we have to look into it. Like, what are the system requirements for this re-release? Because it would be something fun to mix in with everything else going on. I feel like if we're going to have two stressful games, like if we're going to have Elden Ring and Street Fighter 6 going on, we kind of need to have two more relaxing games. We already have Stardew Valley, but maybe we can do one more thing, and maybe that Riven is that thing, right? So we'll see. That's the plan for what's going on right now. Right now, I'm liking everything I'm doing. I'm happy I turned around the Elden Ring DLC, and now we're having fun with it. My one concern is, for some reason, 2 straight Elden Ring streams have been slower streams for support, and I am hoping that it will pick up. I don't know why it wouldn't. People wanted this all year. We're demanding it, excited for it, and it's weird to me that a regular, Street Fighter stream would do better than the Elden Ring streams. I'm just saying, So hopefully things will pick up and they'll start to do better, okay? Okay. Oh, all right. So the only other thing that I really want to talk about before we get to say shout outs and the Q&A and the like is this upcoming event that I want to do either in late July, early August. Probably going to be a summer themed party. Last year, I can't remember what we called it. It was like a barbecue bash. I don't know what we want to call it this year. The summer bash, summer fun, summer fest, DSP's big bouncing summer balls. Yeah, the big bouncing summer balls. Why not? I'll get 2 big balls, dude. I'll get a volleyball and a beach ball, and I'll just toss them around. We'll have balls. But anyway, it's going to be a marathon event in the summer, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have booze. We're going to have food. We're going to have gameplay of some sort. But what I want to emphasize, I don't want this to be an event where we absolutely have to finish a certain amount of games or gameplay guaranteed in the event. When we did the other marathon, for example, like we did the Indies marathon, it was fun, but I did feel rushed. Like I couldn't play as much of each game that I wanted to because we always had to be rushing to the next game to be sure we had gameplay in. And if you remember, I think we did Stardew Valley last, and really it felt like I didn't do enough of that, right? In this case, I would prefer to not feel so rushed, maybe be a little bit more relaxed. We haven't done a tier maker in ages. Maybe we could do a tier maker that somehow relates to summertime. I don't know what. We could think about it. Maybe summertime foods or something, and we could, like summertime barbecue foods and stuff, and balance them off each other, rate them or something like that. I don't know. Usually the food tier makers we've done have been some of the best. But being we haven't done one in so long, I feel like maybe that could be something fun. Like I said, this Nintendo World Championships game is coming out, and that's all challenge runs of classic games. Maybe we could exclusively just play that day and do the different challenges and see how well I can do, and people can actually like guess in the chat how well I'll do on each challenge run and stuff like that. Similar to how we used to have the penne points on Twitch, and people would kind of wager the points on whether or not I would do something well. Maybe we could have that kind of stuff going on if I, will Phil complete the stage in 30 seconds? Will Phil do this level of challenge in the Nintendo World Championships or something like that? And people can weigh in on it. I don't know. We got to think about it. You do live polls and stuff. You could always do that, constantly in the chat here. Could be kind of neat. So, all right. So that's coming. Let's talk more about that as we get into July. We still have probably 2 to 3 weeks of content that's kind of already laid out for us between Elden Ring DLC, Street Fighter 6, Stardew Valley, and maybe one other thing that will start in there. I think we're going to be all right. But let's consider some other stuff as well. All right. And then let's start talking about this marathon. All right. Okay. I'm back. Sorry, I had to blow my nose because of my allergies. All All right, I think we've covered generally everything that I wanted to cover on the podcast today. We do have one shout out to do so far. If any other contributions come in, I'll shout them out. I'll just say this. This is React Day. I know it's very different from my usual gaming content, okay? If you support this podcast, you're also supporting the React stream. I would appreciate it if you could. React streams have kind of been hit or miss recently. Sometimes they do really well, and then other times they don't. Depends on, I guess, whatever week it is. Particularly, there's nothing crazy going on this week. You would think that, today should be a pretty typical React day, hopefully. And as you know, my goals are always to try to hit 50 bucks in tips. If I hit that, I feel like I've done a successful stream. Outside of that, anything in the realm of super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, all appreciated. So please consider supporting, and I will give you a live shout out right now on the podcast. And of course, this will carry over to our goals and rewards for the React show as well. If we raise tips now, I'm not going to erase them for the stream that I'm doing in just like an hour, okay? Okay, so we start off today with a $3 tip. From Gerbax. Gerbax is a $3 tip. Now, hold on a second here. Hold on. How do you spell it? Whoa, shit. Okay. So let's see what they say. This is absolutely hilarious when I read stuff like this. You ready for this? I saw recently on Reddit. Already we have a problem. You saw something on Reddit about me. You've made a mistake. But let's continue. I saw recently on Reddit, you had to just replace your garbage disposal. Not garbage disposal, food waste disposal. There's a difference between garbage disposal and a food waste disposal. But it was my food waste disposal, and it wasn't recent. It was like a year ago. Okay? Which brand did you use? Whirlaway, Waste King, Incinerator, Moen, Evergrind. I found the quality of the Evergrind blade outweighs the sheer power of Moen's G35 3/4 HP motor. And as a side note, apparently garbage disposal should not be used for garden waste, pet fur, or paper towels. Thanks, Phil. Okay. First off, I don't know off the top of my head, nor am I going to go look at the model of waste disposal that I put into my sink a year ago. Okay? I don't even know what why you would want to know the brand of the waste disposal, okay? Here's what happened. When I moved into this house a decade ago, there was a waste disposal in my sink. And I didn't know it at the time. But as I started to talk to the people who run the condo association, they said, that thing is your best friend. Because when it comes to food waste, all right, you basically want to put all your food waste down the waste disposal. We have very strict garbage laws here in the state of Washington because we are considered a green state, meaning that we have very limited amounts of garbage removal. We are allowed one mid-sized garbage trash can every 2 weeks. Yes, you heard what I just said. Every 2 weeks, we are allowed one trash can to be removed from the house. We also are allowed one large size can, which is much bigger than the trash can, of recyclables to also be removed every 2 weeks. FYI, they are way more lenient with recyclables. If you have extras, they'll usually take them and not complain. But garbage, I'm not kidding you. If you have more than one can of trash every 2 weeks, they charge you tons of money to remove your extra trash can. Okay? Hence, this is why every once in a while you hear me saying I had to go to the garbage dump. Because when you have pets, like we have, when you have a house where you do normal things, every once in a while you do spring cleaning or you throw stuff out that's outdated or whatever, you're going to have extra trash. You're not going to have one can of trash every 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. Maybe if you're a bachelor, if you live alone and you always eat out, maybe then, right? You would have one can of trash every 2 weeks. So what ends up happening is, whenever we eat, if we have extra food waste, and it has to go down that waste disposal to reduce the amount of trash we have to the maximum amount. We just can't have cans of trash sitting around here. All right. So waste disposals are essential. And my neighbors, like I said, my condo association said when I moved here, you're going to be using this thing all the time. Like literally all the time. It's essential that you use it. That way you don't have a lot of trash. Okay? I had that waste disposal from since I moved in the main sink all the way until I want to say, this is a guesstimate, maybe like 2018, maybe 2019, around that time period. I'm not exactly 100% sure when exactly it was that it first broke. So when it broke, I had a plumber come to the house. The plumber looked at it, said, yeah, these things break within, 5 to 10 years. There's nothing you can do. You just got to get another one. And he says, well, I'll give you the same one. So he gave me the same one. Okay, just to replace swap. Well, it was already leaking within 2 days. It was leaking all over the underneath of my sink. So I had the plumber come out again and said, yeah, this thing's busted. I don't know what happened to it. It's supposed to be new. Gave me another one, and that one seemed to be fine and wasn't leaking. I had that one, I want to say, maybe 2 years. Okay, maybe. That's stretching it, right? Like I'm trying to think exactly when. No, maybe it was 3 years. It wasn't a long time. It was only a few years. And again, these things are supposed to last anywhere from 5 to 10 years. This thing did not last that long. It was maybe 2-3 years that I had it. Okay? And then it broke again. And this was last year, out of nowhere. Of course, I'm not expecting that. I had just gotten one a few years before. Why would this thing be breaking? All right? Now, for the record, we are well aware of the things you're not supposed to put into a waste disposal unit. You don't put, like you said here in your tip here, you don't use garden waste, correct. Why? Anything that is stringy, like even celery, or like heavy amounts of carrots, even putting in an insane amount of like herbs in there at once, can clog it up. And then it clogs up and won't clear, and you end up with clogged pipes full of shit. We know this happened to us a few times when we were just emptying out the fridge, trying to toss stuff in there. It would clog up. And I'm serious. I've told you about, I've been over my sink with a fucking plunger trying to unclog the pipes that get stuck with the gunk from this stuff, right? So it's a pain. You're not supposed to do heavy amounts of, plants that are the stringy style plants at the same time. You got to kind of break it up. Pet fur, yeah, no hair. You're not supposed to put any hair down the thing. And paper towels, yes, you don't want anything, again, anything that would have kind of a, what do you call it? Fibrous. That's the word I was looking for all along. Anything that's a fibrous style, you don't want to put down a typical waste disposal unit. It could clog up. Okay? So, anyway. After the second one broke again last year, all right, I had a different plumbing company come out. And I said, can you give it to me straight? Like, does this thing really suck? And if I get it again, is it going to break? And straight up, the plumber said, yeah. He says, this one you're getting is known to not be good. Like, it's a pretty low-grade one. Basically, for people who just need one, but don't actually look to use it that much. That's what this one is for. This is not like, oh, you're going to use it all the time for food. You need a step up from this. And I was like, well, then why did that last plumber say they just wanted to do a straight swap? And they said straight up, yeah, he probably was trying to rip you off. He probably wanted to just give you whatever he had on his truck, make some money, and get out of there. Didn't really give a shit about you. I was like, oh, that's nice. So I said, well, what's better? And they showed me these other models. I said, I want the one that's the big step up. Like, I want the one that's like crazy good capacity, because I want one that's not going to clog and break right away. Guess what? It was only $100 more. And let me just tell you, the one I have now, this thing is insane. This thing, you could throw a shit ton of food in it. It never clogs. It never fails. It blends the crap out of everything within moments. The other one would take a while. So this thing is like, zoop, done. Like, literally just done. Okay? That good. And I'm like, I should have got this one from the fucking get-go. Why didn't I? Why? Because the other plumber was an asshole who basically just wanted to rip me off. So, now I kind of know my shit, and I know that when this one breaks, hopefully it'll last 5 to 10 years, all right? I'll get another mid to high-end one, because we use it a lot. We do. Like, anytime that we have food waste, it goes down there. Anytime that, we're making vegetables for something, we have extra, it goes down there. You don't throw any of that shit out, because it's going to just make our garbage accumulate, and then we have to pay way more money to remove it, or I have to go to the dump myself once we accumulate enough to toss it, which is frustrating. Okay? So, that's my waste disposal story. Not garbage disposal. That's my waste disposal story. Do I know the brand? No, I don't, and I don't care. I'm not going to go down and look at my fucking waste disposal to tell you what it is. I don't care. It's also none of your business. I don't know why you'd even ask that ridiculous question. Right? Also, I don't know why you would be on Reddit to discuss the fact that my waste disposal broke a year ago, but people are talking like it broke yesterday. Does you think that tells you something about the people on Reddit? Maybe you should stay the fuck away from them? Maybe there's a little something weird here going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what on earth are you talking about? Okay. Let's continue, shall we? I received a $5 tip. See? Here's another weird one. So this one is from someone named Veto. Okay? Look at the weird stuff this morning. This is a $5 tip from Veto. Okay? Okay. Oops. For $8 in tips total. Here we go again. Veto says the following. Phil, I hope you're doing all right. I gotta say, I love your retro reacts. I used to watch you around that period of time, and I never really interacted. I just kind of stood on your channel, I just stood upon your channel a couple of days ago. It sounds like he stumbled upon my channel in the autocorrect. Might have changed what he was saying. Now, all of that sounds normal, correct? It's a pretty typical message. It's a nice positive message. I'm glad you've found Retro React and you like the stuff. You like me reacting to my old stuff or remastering my old stuff. I'm glad to hear that. Here's the next part of the tip message. You ready? Whatever happened to your gout? I remember it used to be a huge issue. I'm glad you're doing okay. Whatever happened to my gout? He's asking me about a medical issue now. So the first person tips and asks about my waste disposal unit that broke a year ago. The second tip that's come in today is asking me about medical issues. Wow. People don't know how to behave on the internet these days. Here, I'll answer you fairly. Okay? Basically, my gout is an ongoing thing that will never go away. Much like many medical issues, it's something that has what's called flare-ups. But it goes away for a while and then it comes back. What is gout? It is a chemical imbalance. You get too much uric acid in your blood. And there's various different things that can cause and or agitate it. First of all, my aunt had it and I never knew until I got it 9 years ago. And then when I got it, I started asking around my family and come to find out my aunt had it. So it's kind of in my line. And if I had known that, I probably would have been paying attention to that. But I had no idea. I didn't know until I got it. Then, oh yeah, I have it. Why didn't you tell anybody? So anyway, what happens is, when you get a flare-up of this uric acid in your blood, it starts to form crystals in certain joints. And what happens is you get insane swelling and sharp stabbing pain in said joints. So the first time I ever had it, it was in my right foot, my right ankle. My ankle ballooned up as if I had maybe like broken or sprained the ankle when I had it. And it was excruciating levels of pain. Went to the doctor, explained this is what's going on. I think it may be this because I looked it up on the internet. The doctor said, all right, let's do an x-ray and everything to make sure it's not a bone or a tear. Let's make sure it. Come to find out, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I ended up getting on some anti-inflammatory meds, which cost me an insane amount of money because my insurance wasn't covering it at the time. Really stupid. I think my insurance is much better now. And basically it went away, okay? But it doesn't go away permanently. There's certain things that can make it worse. For example, eating a lot of red meat or shellfish. they have a high concentration of uric acid, and that can make it get bad. High alcohol consumption, particularly if you already are experiencing it, it can make it worse. So just because you're in pain, don't try to drink to numb the pain. You're actually just going to make it worse if you're drinking when you have a flare-up like this, okay? Over the years, it's gotten much better. You know, at first when I got it, I was not really looking at my diet at all, so I was eating burgers and steaks and all kinds of shit all the time, and it was really bad. And now I don't do that. I've completely phased that kind of stuff out of my diet for the most part. Every once in a while, I'll have a roast beef sandwich, right? Every once in a while, on a rare occasion, I'll have a burger. But for the most part, I'm eating chicken, I'm eating turkey, I'm eating whitefish, I'm eating that kind of stuff. And it keeps me away from having too much uric acid in the blood. I don't drink nearly as much today as I used to back in the day. I told you guys back, I used to be basically an alcoholic, and I'm moved away from that, thankfully, and I've improved my life dramatically. As you can see, I've lost a ton of weight. I don't eat these unhealthy things on the regular anymore. And so I really don't get flare-ups. I mean, every once in a while, maybe once a year, twice a year, I'll get a very minor flare-up for 1 or 2 days. Ooh, my foot hurts. And then it just goes away. But I can still walk on it. It doesn't swell up bad or anything like that. It used to. Like, it was really bad when I got it 9 years ago that first time. It was, like, shocking. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But now, everything has changed for the better. So, no worries there. That's why you might mention, why does he not mention it anymore? Because it's not really a concern. It doesn't really affect me. I changed my life for the better, and now it's not a big deal, you know? Okay. I received a $1 tip. Someone says, a good chunk of Stardew Valley during your summer event would be good. It's a good game for the summer. Yeah, we could maybe do a little bit of Stardew Valley during the summer marathon. I could see that. You know, especially if I had a few drinks and we're just chilling and want to do a few things in the game. Yeah, that could be fun. Sure. Good suggestion. Thank you for the $1 tip. Okay. Oh, really? This same person, Gerbax, did another $3 tip. Says, this is a friendly tip. If you need more capacity for your food waste disposal, one thing you could do is grease it. You could use meat fats or other things to help the system process fibrous materials easier. I put grease down my own system, and it keeps things moving. Well, there you go. Well, for me, I haven't had an issue with the new one. Since I got the new one, which is the step up, it's like Noah's exaggeration. First of all, it's twice as big as the last one. The last one was like maybe this big. This one's like this big, and it goes zoop. It just sucks everything right in instantly. It doesn't take any time to grind anything up. It's just done. And liquefies it and pumps it right through the pipe, and we're done. So this one, luckily, has not needed any help whatsoever. I think it's just because I paid more. I got the better model. So appreciate that. But thanks for the advice regardless. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I've got to shout out so far. These $12 will carry over to the React stream. If there's anything else that you guys could recommend, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, please tag me in the chat. We'll do a little bit more Q&A. And if any other contributions come in, I'll shout them out on the stream today. Thank you. Yeah, it probably is troll advice because, as you know, he specifically said meat fats. If he had said put some grease into it, that's one thing. He said meat fats, and no, you're not supposed to put meat fats down any drain, toilet, sink, or otherwise. You're supposed to store them separately and then dispose them in a different way because they say if you constantly pour meat fats down your drain, they can coagulate and have big issues. That's what causes a lot of clogs in drains in general. So. Hold on, a couple more tips came in. A $1 tip comes in from someone saying, what's my favorite WWE match? His is Mick Foley versus The Undertaker. Man, I have no clue. I mean, I haven't really thought about it in ages. I haven't followed pro wrestling now in several years. So I don't really know what's going on. Certainly nothing recent. I don't know. Maybe the Iron Man match between, I think it was Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in the 90s. That was really awesome. Okay. All right, and this next one is 100% a troll tip, so I'm just going to ignore it. Okay. When will we return to Fallout 4, or is it gone for good? Fallout 4 has literally not even been gone for a week yet. So, I don't know why we're worrying. I mean, I played Fallout 4 last, what was it, Tuesday? Wednesday? Monday? One of those days. Not even a week ago. All right, now, FYI, Fallout 4 will return. When will it return? I don't know yet. Or I'm thinking about it. Figure it out. But I don't know if I want Fallout 4 back right away, if we want to do something else in the meantime first. Maybe a shorter game to squeeze in before we go back to Fallout 4 being in the rotation. Quite honestly, I played a lot of Fallout 4 last week, and it kind of got burnt out. Like, people weren't showing up and supporting it anymore. I think because I had played so much of it. So, we're in Nuka World. Probably 1 or 2 streams to beat Nuka World DLC, and then we basically have the story conclusion, and we're pretty much done unless I do Automatron, which maybe I'll do that too. So we'll see. But I'm definitely bringing it back. We're going to finish it, but we got to find the right time for it, and definitely now is not the right time for it with everything else going on. Okay? Eternal Napalm says, what about Final Fantasy Rebirth? As I said many times recently, it just doesn't seem like there's enough demand to go back to a game that essentially is going to take me another 60 to 80 hours to beat. For what I'm to understand, yes, it would take me that long to beat it, even if I just focused on story. When I played it when it was new earlier this year, interest waned within like 3-4 streams. I was playing it and no one was talking about it. Views were down. Engagement was down. Everything was down, right? So, for me, I'm just like, I don't really feel like a desire to go back when there really doesn't seem to be much of a desire. I have one person who every day posts a comment on my videos. When is Rebirth coming back? One person. That's it. A single person. That's it. And every once in a while, one person like a week or every few days will say on a stream in the comment, hey, is Rebirth coming back? I don't know. Will anyone watch it? If you didn't watch it when it was new, if you felt that it was boring and you didn't watch the playthrough when it was brand new of a game and there was hype behind it, what makes you think that all these months later, right? If I brought it back, that people would show up to watch and engage and support it again. I feel like it would be the same situation. We go back to it and everyone would complain, man, this is boring, and then be disengaged and be talking about other shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Moxerus asked, are you still doing Game Pass streams to see how we're feeling about certain games? Even when we have time and it makes sense to do that, we haven't had time, or it didn't make sense to do that anytime recently, which is why we haven't done it. There are literally no high-profile games coming out for all of July and the entire first 3 weeks of August. Black Myth Wukong is really the first major one. So, like I said, I definitely think this Elden Ring DLC, Street Fighter 6 content, Stardew Valley are 3 staples that are working. But we're going to need to find other things to do. What do we do? I don't know yet. That's what we got to discuss. Could it be go a Game Pass, maybe find a couple of random games to try? Yes, it could. It absolutely could. Okay? The Blimp says, you're 100% right. Listen to your guts. It would suck. And he's talking about Rebirth, by the way. All right. Any other things, guys? Any other concerns, topics, or anything before we get ready to swap over to the React channel and get to my clip show? Good morning, Jordan. AMS, I played Luigi's Mansion 3 and I really liked it. I remember really enjoying the game. It didn't really resonate as much with my audience. It seems like the first-party Nintendo stuff almost never does anymore. I don't know why, because I'm a lifelong Nintendo fan, so I really like the stuff. But, I would be interested in Luigi's Mansion 2, just like I'd be interested in the Super Monkey Ball game. I'd be interested in the System Shock remake. I'd be interested in the Riven remake. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that can balance out the other content we're doing. I just don't know what the real answer is yet. It's what we should do. Uber Sharks just said, I used to watch you back in your Machinima days. Wow, long time ago. Your Fallout vids came up in my recent recommended, and I used to love your old videos. I'm having a blast watching your retro stuff. Enjoy. If you're watching the retro stuff on this channel, you're good to go. I do have a new throwback channel. I don't know if you're aware. It's youtube.com/@DSP Throwback. On that channel, I'm re-uploading missing playthroughs like Red Dead Redemption 1, LA Noire, okay? And I'll have others as well coming up soon. I'm also remastering certain playthroughs, such as Fallout 3. So if you're into the kind of throwback stuff, that's really cool. Plus, every week I do a stream where I react to my old stuff. So far, I've reacted to Heavy Rain, The Walking Dead Season 1, Bully, Dark Souls 1, a little bit of Red Dead 1, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and others. So you'll definitely want to go give that a chance if you haven't seen it yet. It's a pretty good channel. I'm really enjoying doing the content over there. Cybers TV says no one talks about Sea of Stars anymore, I noticed. There's a few people. There's definitely a few people who like Sea of Stars and are hoping that it comes back. The way I see it, Sea of Stars would be a late night chill stream to balance with another game while we're doing more mainstream style games on the day streams. So perhaps in the summer we would bring it back. We'll see. Okay, let's see here. Someone took the dollar and said, what about Eastward on the Switch? It's more of an action than a Stardew Valley game. I've never heard of it. Eastward? Yeah, not aware of that. I guess I would have to look into it. Is it an indie game? Are you talking like this would be a candidate for like a late night chill kind of a deal? The Dark and Terry says, do you think being a variety streamer works against you because it's longer to get games done? Well, it's just like anything. Everything is a double-edged sword in life, and no matter what, not everyone is going to be satisfied. If you remember way back in the day on YouTube, I was the guy known for buying the game on release day, rushing to play it, getting through it like 2-3 days, full playthrough on the internet, onto the next game. And what ended up happening was tons of criticism. Phil, your playthroughs are not quality because you rush through games too much. You don't take your time with them, right? And that you miss a ton of content. You make fun of it constantly, just making this over-the-top commentary. We would like it more if you would be more relaxed. Take your time. If you would explore. If you would make more complete playthroughs, particularly of games you're really enjoying, and it makes sense to do so. So over time, I go ahead. I say, all right, I'm going to change my strategy. Number one, I'm not going to rush through every game anymore. Instead, I'm going to juggle multiple games, so there's a little bit of something for everyone at any time. Number two, I'm going to take my time with the games and not rush through them, and instead play them at my own pace. I'm going to enjoy the content. And you see, so I literally flipped it. Went from one style to another. Now, I get people who criticize me and say, you take too long to beat games, so we're going somewhere else. It's like, did you want me to rush? You told me not to. You said my old playthroughs of rushing were terrible. So I changed my whole strategy, my whole kind of content, right? And now here we are 10 years later. Oh, that's bad. Well, I already did the other thing too. So what you're telling me is originally what I did was better, and you lied to me 10 years ago, right? No, here's the truth, all right? There's trends. Just like anything. In life, there's trends. Some people like this, some people like that. This is popular at this point, this is popular at this point, and then things change, right? There's people who literally are desperate for attention and views and money, and they try to stay on trend. They will always play the game that's the virally popular hit. They will always try to be a part of the meme or the new thing. They'll try to rush through the hot new game because they have to strike when the iron is hot, but then they know they got to move on to the next one. I don't do any of that. Did you notice that? I don't do any of that popular shit on YouTube. I don't have to. I'm definitely in a situation, I've been around long enough that I have an established viewer base who like who I am and what I do. They don't care if I rush right into a game and beat it right away. They're not even expecting that. They'd rather see my own perspective on how I tackle things, correct? And that's a good thing. Because while everyone else is freaking out, like for example, Thursday was my day off, right? And people are like, you're crazy. You took Thursday off, but the Elden Ring DLC comes out Thursday. And I was like, not for me. It would have come out 9 p.m. It would have been too late for my stream anyway. But everyone's playing it at 3 p.m. on PC, or they're changing their system clocks to say they live in New Zealand, so it will unlock earlier on console. And I'm like, is it like 2015 or something? Is this Dark Souls 3 coming out? What are you talking about? I don't have to worry about any of that shit. I don't. I will play it when I want. I'll enjoy it at my own pace. People will still like it. I don't have to worry. I really don't have to freak out like everyone else. But I position myself that way. You understand? I'm not someone chasing clout. I'm not someone chasing pertinence. I'm not desperate for attention and views. I don't need to do that, something that hits the algorithm just right and gets virally popular so I can make money. I don't have to do any of that. I can just be me, because that's how I position myself in the landscape. Most people out there haven't done that. Sadly, they just run after the fucking trends and shit. And that's a horrible way to make content, in my opinion. That means you're beholden to whatever is new or popular or different, and you have to play it immediately and rush through it when the iron is hot, as they say. Who cares about that? Right? Like, that's shit. Really. That's not a way to go about it, in my opinion. Play it at your own pace, relax, enjoy games, have a good time with your audience. People will come. People will enjoy. You might not always please everyone, because that's what I am finding is I'm getting to a point where sometimes it's hard to figure out what people want, particularly a year like this year, 2024. There have been no giant AAA releases that everyone wants to play and see. There's some people who want this one and some people who want this one, and some people don't care about those. So I'll play a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm thinking it's a shoe-in for like the biggest game of the year. No one shows up to my streams. Like, that game's boring. Shit, I wasn't expecting that, right? Then I play a game like Stardew Valley, and I get some of the most supported streams I've ever seen in my life. What is, like, huh? That came out of nowhere. I played Stardew Valley 7 years ago. No one gave a crap. Now, all of a sudden, people love it. It's like, you just can't predict. But at the same thing, that's the good thing. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not in that same situation as everyone else out there. I am not nervous. I'm not biting my fingernails. I'm not rushing to play things. I'm not trying to get things early, because I positioned myself that way. While everyone else was playing the YouTube game of views and thumbnails and clickbait and get it early and rush through and be memeable, fucking viral, play the new fucking Among Us game and this and that. I don't do any of that. Fuck that. I'm just going to stick true to who I am and make sure that I have people who are like-minded of me, who want to see that content that way, and cater to those people. And it worked. That's why I'm here, not freaking out. That's why, in the midst of all these new releases, I could just do a React Day. Fine. Doesn't matter. I'm breaking up the content. Oh, but everyone wants to see Elden Ring today. And see it tomorrow. There's no rush. I'm cruising to fucking beat everything instantly. If anything, people will play Elden Ring on their own pace, watch other people do it, and now they'll be anticipating when I finally hit the moments they want to see. Right? There you go. Alrighty then. I received another $1 tip. The Eastward game is an action-based role-playing. It's a chill game with funny characters and humor. We know you would enjoy it for a chill stream. Definitely consider it. All right. I will accept that suggestion. Eastward. I'll have to look into it. Hell, it would give me something to play on Switch. My Switch has literally collected dust all year. I never booted it up for any games this year. Right? Dang Dan says, 20 minutes ago, you said you were hoping it's not a pattern with Elden Ring. Yes, because I'm hoping it's not a pattern with anything that I do. Right? But the thing is, I position myself where I can always pivot and adjust, and I'm fine. If Elden Ring, my plan is to play the crap out of the Elden Ring DLC for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Right? That's my plan. If I start seeing a pattern that Elden Ring is not doing well, and it's not what people want, then I'll play it less. Do something else. We'll find something else that people want to take its place, and we'll play it a little less. That's what I've done for myself. That's the balance I've created, because I don't create unreasonable expectations of memeable content or rushing through content. There's no reason to worry about anything. Yeah, I might have every once in a while a little bit of disheartenment, or I'm disheartened because I thought this was going to work and it didn't, right? That happens to everyone, right? There's nothing wrong about that. Yeah, if literally I did 3 straight weeks of content and none of it was getting any engagement or support, then there's worries. That's literally never happened. Not once. I always can pivot, change, adjust on the fly. That's the beauty of being a true variety content creator, right? There's been times when all the games I'm playing aren't really working, so I just do a late night chill stream where I just talk for 2 hours, and that works. I'm not worried. Short term, yes, you get worries, but hopefully not long term, and if long term, then adjust. There's nothing wrong with that formula. In fact, the formula has worked for me for many, many years. Right? Jasper Velli says the world needs a Paper Mario 1000-year door playthrough from me. I am very interested in the game. 100% I'm interested in that game. I want to play it, but I'm not convinced. Number one, it's first party Nintendo, which already I have problems getting people to be interested in. And number two, it's RPG, which everyone told me they're burnt out on this year. So I don't know. I really want to play it. I do. Good morning, Generation Z. Excuse me. Cybers TV says streaming is full of highs and lows. You understand that. The trolls try to create fake hype around your lows, but your style has always been up and down, and they act like you're the same as everyone else. I couldn't be further from everyone else. I really couldn't. There's nothing like other content creators who are chasing that dream to be some fucking big popular. I don't care about that. I just want to have a core audience who likes me for me. You know how I am. You know how I'm opinionated. You like the content I deliver. You know it's variety. You know the pace I play. Come and have a good time. That's it. That's literally it. That's nothing else to it, right? Simple, fun, relaxing, chill, interactive. That's what you're here for. This guy said, ever thought about doing a cooking stream? No, because I don't cook. I mean, what do I cook? I can make a sandwich, right? I can make some eggs. I can make a pot of Italian marinara sauce, which I've already done and documented, but it was a decade ago. I haven't done it in many years now. COVID kind of screwed all that up. I don't really cook. You know, my wife cooks. My wife doesn't want me filming her in the fucking kitchen when she's cooking. You know, no. What exactly would I do with cooking? I'm not a cook. I understand there's a fascination with stuff like that, but that's not something that I would be able to, I think, do. It's not, you know, what am I going to do with that, right? There's been other things we've talked about, like other things that you could do on stream. That's normal things to do on a stream. Like, I don't know. Like people have said, playing chess or like doing hobby style stuff, building a model, or you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, building Legos or something and talking while we do it and try to figure it out. That kind of stuff makes sense to me because you can do that right here. I'm in the office. I don't want to leave my office to go be filming around my house to do cooking that I'm not interested in doing and I'm not good at. Again, what's the point of that, right? That's right. Cybers TV says years ago you did actually do a goal. You were interested in doing a cooking stream with Kat. I remember, and no one cared. You're absolutely right. If you remember, when Kat moved in with me in 2018, so you know, over 6 years ago, it was an idea that we had together. Is that at that point she wanted to get into cooking. She wasn't into cooking that much. She was interested in getting into cooking. We said that if we had hit a certain level of support, I can't remember what it was, if it was like a stream goal or a Patreon goal. I don't even remember. That's how long ago it was. That we would basically look into doing a possible series of her cooking, and I would be there filming and helping, right? And no one cared. Like, no exaggeration. It didn't hit it. We didn't get close. And I was like, I guess you guys aren't that interested, you know? But every once in a while, people still talk about cooking stuff. Like I said, I would like to focus on things I could do right here with you guys, right? Things that we can easily write with the setup. We can have the social aspect, talking, interacting. Not, I leave the office where I'm supposed to be making my content for my business, and I start walking through my house and showing you my private shit and fucking, you know, I don't want to mix that world, right? I don't. So that's why I don't. Some people said they like the idea of Legos. Yeah, that was one thing, like buying maybe a Lego set, and you just sit here for a couple hours at night and you put it together. You talk with the chat as you're doing it. You show your progress as you're building it. You talk through it. That would be pretty fun, I think, right? I do think that would be pretty fun, something different. Instead of just gameplay. I'd be down for that. I don't know what else. Like, I know there's like little models and things you can build and stuff. Maybe I'd be interested in getting into that. Of course, I wouldn't want to paint in here. We get paint fumes in a fucking closed room. You know, not a very good idea. But I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, there's things I could do that are various different kinds of stuff that could be different kinds of content rather than just gameplay, right? Exactly. The Bloom says, maybe put it into your background after it's done. Yeah. A new addition to the background, something we built together on a stream. A Lego build stream. Of course, the catch is Legos are fucking expensive now. You know how much they've dramatically increased in price. So I'd have to start small. And if the streams catch on and they get support, then I could use the funding from the streams to buy the next Lego. Because those things can get fucking real expensive. Board game streams. See, I like board game streams. The thing is, how could I do that? Play myself? They did mention that Ubisoft said they're going to do a Monopoly game with possible online playing. I would do that. I would do Monopoly nights where I play online with people in Monopoly. That'd be neat. I like Monopoly. I'd have fun with that. Spawn Killer just did our first super chat of the day. He says, I remember when you did a house tour when you moved in. Do you have any of your DVDs still? I have none of my DVDs. They're all gone. When everything went on demand digital, fully, and basically you could get anything instantly through one of these subscription services, I literally went and traded them all in at this local like bookstore, collector store. They sell movies and books. And I got basically, you know, my collection was probably worth thousands of dollars, and I probably made like $400 on it, you know, at the time. This was years ago when I was pretty desperate for money because of my situation going on there. And, but no, I don't have any of that shit anymore. Nope. Most of that stuff that you saw from the old days is gone. Yeah, I would consider chess. The thing is, I haven't played chess in a million years, so I'd have to, like, get spruced up on the rules, and likely I would probably get destroyed early on from people who know what they're doing until I remember. Like, I remember generally how the pieces move, but I don't remember the deluxe things you can do, like a castle, but I don't remember how that works exactly. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I used to have strategies when I used to play as a kid. I don't remember any of the strategies anymore. I mean, they're all lost to time. Carlton Jr. says there's actually some full solo board games meant to be played by one person. Some are interesting. Really? By one person only? Huh. I don't know how much fun that would be. Maybe with the audience it would be fun. Because if you're at the luck of a dice roll or whatever and you get screwed, we all laugh at the misfortune or at the great luck, right? The night of great rolls versus the night of shit rolls. I would be down for stuff like that. To break up, instead of just games, video games, to do different stuff. Build a Lego. Play a board game that's a solo game, you know, for a couple hours stream. I'm totally open to that kind of stuff, especially as I get older. And as I get older, I'm not going to be able to just do constant video games anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are good ideas, I feel. Okay. All right. We got to wrap this up. We got really late here. And we got to get ready for the react show. Okay, I appreciate good suggestions. Let's keep this going. Maybe tomorrow, let's continue these discussions and suggestions for other kinds of content that I maybe would like to branch into. But for now, we got to wrap it up so we can get DSP versus the internet started. Okay, so thank you guys for chilling with me here this morning. I certainly hope again you will head over to DSP Reacts and hang out with me for the show. I'm telling you, it's a good show, with a variety of clips and stuff that are submitted. And I hope that you will join me for all of that. It's going to be a good one. I know that I don't talk about it a lot, so a lot of people don't go over there, but I hope that you will, you know, head over and hang out with me for the show. I'll be back tomorrow on this channel for the Elden Ring DLC and Street Fighter 6, but I hope that you will check me out on DSP Reacts or DSP Throwback or both for the React stuff. All right, everyone, thank you for a great show. See you tomorrow to tell you how it all went. Peace out.